All right. Welcome everybody to our webinar tonight. I'm seeing people jump on. Panelists, why don't you go ahead and start your videos and unmute yourself. Well, we want to welcome everybody to our webinar. We got hacked. How to prevent your Facebook page from being hacked like ours did. So this is kind of an interesting subject, and I'm going to address the elephant in the room, which is, why am I listening to a social media marketing company talk about how not to get hacked when they got hacked themselves? So we wanted to be really transparent about this. There were some steps that we missed in this process, just like any company might. And we learned a lot from this experience of getting our Facebook page hacked. And we hope this won't happen to us again, because now we are more prepared. And we thought, hey, if we learned all this and if we went through this whole process of getting our account recovered, why not share this with dental practices and help practices to understand what they can do to prevent this from happening to them. So we want to share our knowledge and what we learned with you tonight. Feel free to chat in any questions that you have as we talk tonight, and we'll try to address that either as we see them or at the very end. All attendees will be on mute the whole time, and will remain on mute the entire webinar, but feel free to chat in and we'll watch the chat. All right, let me just share my screen really quick here. Okay, so I have with me Adrian Leffler, Vice President of My Social Practice, Joshua Garza, one of our web developers here, Sarah Abbott, she is the Director of Client Services here at My Social Practice, and myself, Blake Hadley, I'm the President of My Social Practice. So we tried to bring in a few of our team members, all of which help deal with this problem. And as they have their portion of the presentation, I'll have them kind of introduce themselves and what they do here as well. So we're going to start with Adrian, and Adrian is going to tell you a little bit about the story of what happened, how our Facebook page got hacked. Next, we'll hear from Josh, who's going to tell us the why and how someone would phish or hack our accounts. What's the reason behind that? Next, Sarah is going to talk about hacker prevention and keeping your account secure. And then I will end with talking about what to do if you happen to get hacked. Hopefully this won't bring back too much PTSD from my experience, my stress that I went through when this all happened. Okay, so we'll start with Adrian. Adrian, why don't you give us a little bit of the story of what happened?
So everyone, I'm on this webinar because I'm the problem child. It all happened because of me. So I don't know what to tell you. I've apologized profusely. All right, so this is an email. If you notice the date on it, this is Monday, July 11th at 2:58 a.m. So this is an email that came in that morning. Obviously, I was asleep. And basically, it was a notification from Facebook that my email address, which is blanked out here, had been changed to this random email that I've never seen before. So obviously, I didn't see this because it was at 3 a.m. And you got the next slide on this, Blake, or no? On the email that came in? Okay. So 3 minutes later, another email came through that basically was another notification that things have been changing in my email account. So when Blake got up in the morning and found out, he flipped out and let me know, and we started investigating. But here's what happened. The hacker accessed my Facebook account, which unfortunately I have used the same stupid password for years on all my stuff. So that was really easy. I was really easy to hack. I was the doorway into our account. And I'm an admin on My Social Practices Facebook page. My personal email is. So what happened is when they got in here, they removed like everyone that was an admin on the Facebook page got removed. And so Dylan Spalding and Tanner Dawson and Juan Paul Portasio Terraro and everybody else except for me, we don't know who these people are. So, and we don't know how they're involved, but they're most likely, they're probably other Facebook pages that have been hacked by the same hacker using their accounts to hack our account. And my name is in there, but I can't get into the account now because they've changed the email address. And so anyway, the business manager we got wiped out. Everybody got removed and they put all their own accounts in. Go to the next slide. What happened next is they started running ads and posts that were totally, not within the realm of what my social practice does, physical exam stuff. I mean, this is just weird. Who knows where they came up with it, but this is what they start posting. And they also hacked into our advertising platform inside of Facebook. And as you can see here, they started running like bra ads and workout gym stuff and whatever. And they increased the budget to $1,200 a day on each one of those ads. So right in the middle of the page there, you can see that they've got a budget of $1,200 for one day, which is a lot of money to spend on Facebook. And our credit card numbers were in there, right? And so they ran up almost $4,700 in ad spend in just like less than a day, I think, if I remember right. So they got into the account, through my account, removed everybody, accessed the ad manager, and started running ads to all these ridiculous, whatever you want to call it. So anyway, that's kind of what happened to kick this off. And so we were all losing our minds that first day, and we were getting chats from all of our followers saying, "You've been hacked, you've been hacked, you've been hacked," because they, obviously we don't advertise, foot rubs and whatever, fraud and so forth. So,
Right.
so anyway, yeah.
So we blame everything on Adrian. Adrian is the problem child, and this is how it all began with Adrian.
Yep.
All right, so thanks, Adrian. So now we're gonna have Josh talk a little bit about the why and how someone would phish or hack your accounts. And Josh has an interesting background, and we are excited to have him on the webinar as well, because he has some background in online security. So Josh, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, and then go ahead and go into your part.
Sure. So yeah, I attended the University of Texas at San Antonio, which is and I studied infrastructure assurance, which is sort of a fancy way of saying cybersecurity, I suppose. And it was actually one of the first universities to be accredited by the National Security Agency as a Center for Academic Excellence. So it's kind of like the gold standard of schools as far as network security, cybersecurity goes. And so that's actually my academic background. Now I do web development here at my social practice, but I figured, hey, why not help out with a little bit of my experience? So now just kind of going into, the details here, we have to, in order to kind of understand, or in order to get to prevention, we have to understand, why somebody would do this, how they do it. It's just important to get that motivation out of the way. Otherwise, you're not really ever going to know what you're trying to prevent. So the biggest thing for why is just financial gain. And I know that's surprising absolutely no one. But yeah, financial gain is why most people will hack these accounts, and they do it through different ways. One of the most vulnerable things that you have, and valuable, mind you, is that is your personal information. We call it PII, personal identifying information. This is things like your date of birth, your social, your phone number, driver's license, even things like your spouse's name, your pets' names, children's names. All of this information can be used to aggregate sort of a narrative that, hey, I am Adrian, and I have all this information to back it up. So I can call the bank and say, hey, I'm Adrian, it's not this guy. And that's one of the major things they can do. And through that, they can get access to your bank accounts, credit cards, etc. The another thing that they could do and is that PII that you have, that personal identifying information, it's become insanely desired and valuable on the dark web. And if you don't know what the dark web is, it's sort of a very spooky term for what's essentially just the unregulated internet, where people go to sell counterfeit things, essentially. But yeah, on the dark web, then they will sell your social for lots of money, just so that they could, a criminal could potentially just have a fake identity. So the other method of, or the other, so I guess, sort of motivation for why somebody might hack your account is intentional vandalism. So what we're kind of looking at here is that most cases, and it's going to be one of these two things more often than not, either somebody's hacking you for financial gain or they're hacking you for intentional vandalism. And typically with intentional vandalism, it's going to be something like a disgruntled employee. A lot of the times when we're dealing with like a disgruntled employee, we're talking about maybe they disagree with a business decision. Maybe they felt snubbed, at, at annual paid, time, evaluation time. Doesn't matter. But the point is they identify that your reputation is gold. It's valuable. And it's also very delicate. If they know this is low-hanging fruit to hurt you, and if they think that they're mad enough and they'll justify it however they want, they'll hit you where it hurts by trying to vandalize your social media accounts, and that could be very damaging to a company, not just for acquiring new clients or new patients, but also for your existing patients thinking like, gee, I don't know if I want to do business with this company. I just saw what, I don't know what, I don't want a dentist who's posting weird ads for bras on their, on their Facebook account, So it definitely can have a real effect on your, on your revenue. It could definitely have an effect on the loss of revenue. So it's definitely something to keep in mind. It's definitely low-hanging fruit. So just understanding, what the attacker is trying to gain is like the first step in understanding what you could do to prevent it. So before you can even get to the prevention step, you got to understand this stuff and kind of put yourself in their shoes. So now let's talk about how. How does this work? So typically speaking, it's sort of an interesting paradigm shift. 10 years ago, everything was about technology. Everything was about how high tech can you get? Who's the best programmer, as far as when it comes to hacking. Now it's super low tech. People with very limited tech skills could come in, and all they really need is a basic understanding of psychology. What we essentially have started to see is this paradigm where this method known as social engineering has been coming into play. So what that is essentially going to be is a fancy phrase for manipulating you into doing something that somebody else wants and making you think that it's your idea, when it's usually to your detriment. So it's also important, to know that at this point in time, with the trends that we've been seeing in cybersecurity, that the human element is really the weakest link in the chain as far as security goes. So just knowing that and putting that in your back pocket is going to be something that's really going to help you protect yourself going forward. So now what I'd like to go ahead and do is just sort of lay out how exactly these attacks work through a series of 4 steps. And we'll kind of walk through them, use a couple of cases, so you can kind of see the pattern and hopefully seeing that pattern might help you sort of identify it in the moment and prevent it from happening in the future if you find yourself in this situation. So the first step is that you're going to see a message. It could be a Facebook message, an email, like in the case of Adrian, it could be an Instagram DM, anything like that. And it's just going to be out of the blue. You're not going to know who it is. You're not going to know anything about it. It's just going to be a random message. And your first instinct's going to just be, well, I don't know who this is. Why would I even read this? But then they're going to do something where they're going to try to do a call to action. They're going to try to trigger a response from you. And this response is usually going to fall into one of two categories. And that's going to be either an emotional response or sort of a vulnerable, insecure response. And we'll go into both of these. So when we're talking about the emotional response, as far as triggers goes, what they're going to try to do is sort of get you to suppress your logic by telling you something that will catch you off guard emotionally. A good example of this is you might get this random message that will say, you may not remember me from college, but I'm sorry for your loss. Just kind of letting you know, oh my gosh, somebody I know died, that's awful. Now I want to know who it was. I need to start grieving, So they're trying to get you on that back foot, thinking that something might have happened. As far as the vulnerability or the insecurity case goes, maybe it's an email from Facebook, like in the case of Adrian, or an email from Chase, telling you your bank account's been hacked or something like that. Just making you feel, again, trying to suppress your logic to make you feel panic or put you in an emotional state to where you aren't critically thinking. So then we move on to the third step, and following this sort of this call to action, they're going to put a demand behind that trigger, and they're just going to package it all together seamlessly. So in the case of, say, what we were talking about for the emotional trigger, you might see something like, where we were talking about, your friend passing away, I'm sorry for your loss. They might put something like, I saw her obituary here, and let's say you live in Los Angeles, maybe they put a link to the LA Times obits, and it looks very real, but that link, I assure you, does not link to the LA Times obits. So that's how that's going to be getting into the next step. But before we go there, another way they could do it is, in the case of, say, Chase contacting you, or this hacker pretending to be Chase, they might send you a message saying something like, greetings, customer. It looks like there's been a security breach in your account. Please click here to to reset your password or something like that. And you're already on the hook. You're feeling vulnerable. You're feeling like somebody has access to my bank account. I got to fix this as soon as possible. And that's really, once they get you to that state and then they present you with that link, we get close to the point of no return, which is number 4 here. You're motivated now, whether your logic has been suppressed and your emotions are running high, and you're trying to do whatever you can to resolve the situation, because who wants to deal with this? Nobody wants to deal with this. But the issue here is, once you get to number 4, we're kind of at the point of no return, and there's one of two things that are going to happen. All right. So once you click that link, you're either going to be taken to a form that's going to look very real. I mean, shockingly real, using real company branding. It may look like a perfectly legitimate, in the example of Chase, that might look like a perfectly legitimate web form from Chase. But it's really just there to harvest your information and get everything they can get from you. Or in the example of, the obit, somebody will link that obituary, but maybe you click it and hey, nothing happens. But really what's happened is they've silently downloaded some code to your computer that will literally log every keystroke that you make, and they'll monitor that and send it to somebody offsite so that they can look for patterns in your passwords and things like that. So you may not even know it's happened. It may not be as rapid as what happened to us, but it will happen. So the ultimate thing to remember here is getting you to click that link is how they win. And absolutely every time, once you click the link, it's game over. Luckily, there's definitely ways that we can, that we can remedy the situation like we did. But ultimately, your strongest defense is a strong prevention.
Thanks, Josh. That's pretty scary. The clicking of the link is the only thing that they need is, when you talk about that, that's pretty scary to think about, that they can put something on your computer to know even what you're typing so that they can know what password you're putting in. Because sometimes it feels like, oh, I clicked the link, but as long as I didn't put in any information on the site, I should be okay. But just clicking the link is the scary part. So be very, very careful with that.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Josh. Next, we're going to have Sarah talk a little bit about hacker prevention and keeping your account secure. Sarah has worked with hundreds of our dental practice clients, and over the years, we have clients that get hacked and their accounts get hacked. And so Sarah has been in the weeds with our clients, helping them resolve these issues, and has learned a lot from that. So she's going to talk about how you can prevent your account from getting hacked.
Thanks, Blake. Thanks, Josh. I think that was a really good start to prevention. I agree that understanding the motive is really important here so that we can set our clients up and other people up for success to prevent these types of incidents from happening. So I'll talk a little bit about prevention and some steps that you can take today after this call to make sure your accounts are secure on Facebook and Instagram. So first up, this may seem like a very juvenile suggestion, but I highly recommend creating a strong password that is unique to your Facebook account. I think we all know that we should be doing this, but I think it's very easy to want to use the same password over and over again, like Adrian did, because it's easy. It's easy to remember. It's easy to get into your accounts. But when it comes to your important information and your business assets, which your Facebook page is a business asset, it's really important to make sure that you are creating a strong password. And when I say strong password, we don't want your pet's name 123. We want a more complex string of characters, numbers, characters, upper and lower case, so that no one could ever guess what your password is. And then obviously we all know we never want to share our login information with anyone. And there really is never a need for that with Facebook. If anyone needs to get access to your business account to help you out, say an employee or a company you're working with, they can always be added as an admin or some other level so that they can help you out without getting your login information. And then over on the right here, I'm just going to kind of walk you through some places that you can go in Facebook to check out your account, to review your security, things like that. So over here in the Privacy Center, it actually guides you. Facebook knows this is an issue, and they have many guides that will tell you what to do to further secure your account and how to just, combat this increasing amount of hacks that are going on. So again, one of the most simple things you can do is go into your security and login information and change your password and make sure it's something secure and that you're not using on any other platform. And then next up, so kind of step number 2 is once you have a secure password, you always want to set up 2-factor authentication. It's the annoying thing that makes you put a code in every time you try to log in, but it is really a key tool when it comes to preventing your accounts from being hacked. Let's say your password is leaked somewhere and someone gets that password. They won't have access to your 2-factor authentication, and therefore they won't be able to get into your account. It's one of the most simple but effective ways to protect yourself. And then as far as practices that I've worked with in the past, more often than not, sorry, Blake, you're good.
You're good.
More often than not, it's your business accounts are getting hacked through personal pages, just like Adrian, who don't have those types of things set up. They don't have those complex passwords, and they don't have 2-factor set up on their page. And then as far as recovery codes and 2-factor goes, there are couple different ways that you can set up two-factor authentication with Facebook specifically. So you can add a mobile number to your account and receive codes via text message. However, experts in the industry actually recommend that you use an authentication app for these codes. So what that is a separate app that you can put on your phone. I personally use Google Authenticator, and you can set it up so that it will generate codes for you to be able to log into your Facebook or really a lot of other websites that use this same kind of feature as well. So we highly recommend, if you have your phone number, that's great, but also set up the Authenticator app as well, so that you have another way to access those codes. And then there is a third layer as well. So Facebook's really trying to help us out here. They're saying, if you can't get to your phone, if you can't get to the Authenticator app, they've also put in place these recovery codes as well. And it's a list of, I think it's maybe 10 spare codes that you can use just in case you don't have access to getting that text message or looking at the code on your Authenticator app. So I highly suggest going into your security and login, going into two-factor authentication, setting all of that up, and saving those recovery codes somewhere as well. Third thing that I highly recommend is having a backup admin, or maybe even two, on your Facebook business page. Again, I've worked with hundreds of practices over the years, and a lot of times what will happen is, we'll give an employee access to the Facebook page where we say, hey, head this up, do the social media. And what ends up happening is they're the sole admin, or you're the sole admin on the page. And the moment something happens where someone's hacked, if you're the only admin on the page, you could lose your page completely. Obviously, we can dispute with Facebook, we can try to get it back, but really that is the worst thing that you can do, is only having one admin on your page. So you do want to select someone you trust, of course. You never want to give someone access that could potentially harm you in the future. So common examples of this are maybe your spouse, an office manager, an employee you really trust that's potentially worked with you a long time. I've seen some of my clients give their children access just as a safeguard, but just someone you really trust, you'll want to add them as a backup admin, just in case something happens to your page or their page, you can still get into your account. And then, of course, whoever is on your page, any admin, anyone who has a role on your page, you should ask them to make sure they have two-factor authentication set up as well. And before we move on, I do want to take just a moment to talk about the different levels of admin on your page. So if we look at the screenshot here on the right, and I'm sure you guys have been in Facebook and have been totally confused about who has access to what, and they are changing it all the time. But to give you a really high level understanding of how this works, is the highest access you can have to a Facebook page is having access to the page owner account. So there's certain tiers to Facebook. The highest one is business manager. Business manager accounts can own pages, so business pages. So you'll see at the top here, we have page owner, we have our My Social Practice business manager account that owns our page. And then underneath that, it's blacked out, but these are just employees who are in that business manager account. So you can have people who are just admins on your page, and you can have people who are admins inside of your business manager. So be very careful about who you give access to your business manager, but same concept, I would highly recommend having a backup person in there. And then there are other roles. So agencies, if you work with an agency like us or other people, a lot of times will request access to your page through their business manager, which will set them up as an agency. And then most people know that there are existing page roles. So there's admin, editor. There's different things that Facebook is rolling out as well, where you can assign very specific roles or sections of your page to those people. But generally speaking, like I said, just always have a backup admin so that if anything happens, you can use that person to get back into your Facebook page. Fourth thing that I highly recommend is performing a biannual audit on your Facebook business page. And this could be biannual, it could be quarterly. It's just something that I think you should put on your calendar and take seriously. And this could include very simple things, just checking for any past employees who have left your practice but may still have admin access. This speaks to what Josh told us before. You know, a lot of times there might be a disgruntled employee, and more often than not, those are the types of people who are going to attack your page. So not only checking this biannually, but making sure when an employee leaves your practice that you're checking who has admin access and removing it if necessary. Again, having a trusted backup admin, changing your password. So let's say you set up a great secure password, but you haven't changed it in 2 years. It's a good idea to change your password maybe every 6 months, maybe at least once a year, just to make sure everything is kept up to date and fresh and secure. And then also checking your backup emails, your phone numbers, your authenticator apps, making sure you still have access to all of the things that would help you get back into your account should you have forgotten your password or get hacked or, you know, different things like that. Another thing is, this really speaks to what Josh was talking about, but never click on suspicious links or in emails or texts or DMs. There's a lot of ways that people can try to get your information, hack your account. This example we have on the right-hand side here is actually an email that came to us right after we got hacked. And I think this is a great example because we were emotional still. We had just figured out how to get access back to our page. We got this email and it said that, you know, our page is violating something, it's going to be unpublished. And immediately we were worried. We were like, oh no, what do we need to do? Let's get this fixed. But if you look closely at this email, it's also a scam. We can see the from address says Meta for business. So we're like, oh, it's Facebook. But if you look closely, it's a random name at Outlook. There are no legitimate businesses that are going to be requesting your information like that using outlook.com. So just be really wary of things that you receive, emails and messages, and just look for clues like that to make sure you don't click on these links, and that you're very careful about entering your personal information anywhere on the internet.
And if Seth would have clicked on that and responded to it, then he would be on this call as well, and I wouldn't be the only person that screwed up.
Yes.
Yeah, it was actually forwarded from one of our employees, Seth, as Adrian mentioned, to the rest of us. And so if someone forwards you an email that they might think is legit, make sure you check it too, because, you know, getting it as a forward, you would think, oh, maybe that person checked it and maybe it really is legit. But so I didn't even think to check that first until Sarah saw it, and Sarah said, guys, this is a scam. So you just have to be like extra careful and always check every email before you click on something like that.
Yeah, just be hyper aware all the time.
Yeah.
So another thing you can do, this is a great thing for you to do today after this call, is perform a Facebook security checkup. So this URL up at the top, you can go to this link. It'll walk you through a guide of what you can do to secure your account. And it's going to be most of the things we talked about today. So making sure your password is complex enough, making sure you have two-factor authentication turned on, login alerts are on so that you can get notified if someone logs into your account that's not you. Different things like that. Facebook knows it's an issue. They know people are getting their accounts hacked. So feel free to use their guides to make sure that you're keeping your account secure.
And I just chatted that link into the chat box if anybody wants to click on it.
And then I talked a lot about Facebook, but obviously this definitely applies to Instagram as well. We wanted to share this short video from Adam. He's actually the head of Instagram, and he posted this video yesterday. And it's all about how to do a security checkup on Instagram to prevent your account getting hacked or whatnot.
The issue I hear about maybe most in my DMs and my comments is people who lose access to their accounts, which has to be incredibly frustrating. So this week, I wanted to do a hidden gems focused on a feature called security checkup. It just takes a few moments of your time, and it's one of the most important things you can do to make sure you protect your account. So you go to your profile, settings, security, and then you'll see something called security checkup. And there you can go through and make sure everything is up to date. You can see your password, and if you hadn't changed it in a long time, I strongly encourage you to consider changing it. You can make sure that your phone number and your email address are up to date, which are the most important ways to recover your account if you do lose access. And you can turn on two-factor authentication. I know it's a little bit annoying, but it's the most important single thing you can do to protect your account. You can use SMS, but I strongly encourage that you use an authenticator app or WhatsApp, because they're the most secure options available. Under security, there's also something called login activity, where you can go and see all the different devices that are logged into your account and boot anything that looks suspicious. Now, if you have any questions or concerns, you can always go to help.instagram.com and get some guidance there. And in the meantime, we're going to continue to try and do all we can to keep accounts safe, give you updates along the way. See you next week. Peace.
So yeah, I mean, we talked about a lot of simple things that most of you probably know how to do, but they really are the key to preventing anyone from getting into your accounts. So.
All right, thank you, Sarah. So that portion is, such the prevention is really what we want to stress, and we hope you don't get to the point of what I'm going to talk about. So what to do if you actually get hacked and your account gets hacked. And so I want to go through the steps that we went through so that you can hopefully get it resolved as quick as possible. But not all hope is lost. Once you get hacked, you can still recover your account without having to create a new account. But you need to act fairly quickly. Adrian got hacked in the middle of the night. So that's hard for most people to act quickly when it's 3 o'clock in the morning. And obviously that's a technique of hackers, is to do it when you're sleeping. But if you can catch some of these things quickly, it will help a lot. So the first thing, if you get an email about a change of roles, a notification about any change of roles. So this was the email that I received because I'm an admin of the account as well, that says Adrian Leffler was assigned to the role of finance editor at My Social Practice. And this happened again in the middle of the night. I got this email. So I wondered why, when I woke up in the morning and saw this email, I wondered, why did someone change Adrian to the finance editor and not an admin over our account? So the first thing you want to do is ask your other admins if they'd made this change. So contact them as soon as possible. Ask them if they did this. If not, you know that you have an issue. A hacker got into your account. So to determine who made the change, an admin change or the role change, one thing you can do is you can go into your page management history. So in your page settings, if you scroll down, there's a place called page management history. And you can see here, Adrian Leffler, his face over there on the right, made all of these changes to our site. Changed the website, changed the description of our page, changed the phone number, added people as admin, changed people from this to that. So obviously we can tell that the account that's been compromised is Adrian's personal account. So that's
Hey, why do I look so old in that picture?
Adrian put some filter on his face to look old in that picture. That's why.
Here's how it happened. Do you remember that make your face go old app that came out a year ago? That's
Maybe
it.
that's how it started. Maybe
That's how it happened.
Beginning of the end.
Yeah, exactly. So once you've determined who it is, another thing you're going to want to check is if you have any pending requests. So whenever someone is added as an admin, they have to accept that admin request. So if you can go into your business manager and you can check if there's any pending requests, and you can cancel those requests. If you get to it quick enough before the hacker friend accepts it, you can cancel those requests before too many admins are added to your page, because the more admins that they can add, the more complex this gets, which is what happened on ours. They added a ton of different admins. So if the person that was compromised, the account that was compromised, like Adrian, if he can get into his account still, see if they can get in and have them change their password as fast as possible. Again, this would have to be done very quickly so that the email isn't removed and they haven't done too much. I'm sure it's one of the first things the hackers do is remove the email and change the password to their own. But if you can get to it fast enough, you might be able to change your password before they do. Next, if you are just locked out of your account, like we got locked out of our account very quickly in the middle of the night, the first thing you want to do is contact your bank and cancel all your credit cards that are maybe associated with your account or with your ad account. Also save all the invoices that you get from Meta or from Facebook so that you can dispute any of these fraudulent charges later on. I would save them somewhere, create a folder on your computer and save everything, as well as save screenshots of all the activity that you're seeing, all the posts that they're making. If you go into the business manager and you see that they're making all these different ads, like we showed, take screenshots of all of that and save it on a folder in your computer so you can show Facebook that this isn't you. It was funny when we first, well, not funny, but when we first disputed this and created a case for it, Facebook came back to us and said, we don't see any unusual activity on your account, which didn't make any sense because obviously we're not selling weight loss and, bras. So I had to screenshot all of those and send those to them and say, this is not us. We are a social media marketing company. We do not sell these things. And so I had to show them some proof in that way. For the personal account you think was compromised, have them go through this process. If they go to facebook.com/hacked, it'll go through a process of having them recover their account. And one of the steps is actually uploading their ID, a photo of their driver's license or whatever it might be, so they can know that it's you or that person, and they can try to recover the account quickly. So send them this link, facebook.com/hacked, for them to recover that. The next thing to do is if you go to facebook.com/business/help, this is the Meta Business Help Center. And if you scroll down, there's a find answer or contact support, and you can click get started on that page. And this will tell you to select an asset that you need help with. So it will look at all the accounts that you have admin access over, and you can choose that account that was hacked, and you can create a support ticket. And it actually pushes you into a chat. And Facebook is pretty responsive on the chat. Someone will chat in very quickly, and you can explain to them the problem that you're having. The only thing is, and I'll be very transparent, Facebook is super difficult to work with. And it's really, really, really frustrating because they will not get on the phone with you. No matter how hard you try, no matter how much you complain or how many caps you put inside of your message, yelling at them through text, they just have their automated responses. They say, sorry, sorry, this is happening. They try to assure you, and they try to give you hope by saying, we're getting to this as fast as we can. They'll usually tell you that they'll get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. But when they get back to you, it's not that your problem is resolved in 48 hours. Just know that they will get back to you in 48 hours and let you know that it's gone to the next process, like they've sent it to their team to investigate it. And it's really frustrating. You just know that once you get to this point, it took us 30 days or more for us to get our account back. And, I thought it was going to be quick. I thought it was going to be 48 hours. So my hopes were up, but it was another month. So I kind of lost a little hope after the first week and of what was going to happen. But it will create this little ticket for you. You can see here a recent case. It'll say it's received, that it's in progress, that it's in review is the steps. And then there's a completed step. And then there's also a place you can ask for an update on this, on your ticket. Well, we've talked to some people at Facebook, and they say, don't ask for too many updates, and don't go back to this again and create another case. No matter how mad you are, and you're saying, why isn't Facebook getting back to me? And you start another chat with a new person, they'll create a new case for it. And Facebook basically said, the more cases that you create and the more you ask for updates, the more complicated it becomes. And it doesn't help at all. It doesn't help speed up the process. It actually kind of makes things more complicated, is what they say. So again, just know it's really, really frustrating. And but the hope is that you cross your fingers and, there's only so much you can do at this point, and you wait and you hope Facebook resolves it. It's about as much as you can do because it's out of your control, unfortunately. So let's hope you don't get to this point and you prevent any of this from happening and take all the steps that Sarah explained. As my social practice clients, we're here for our social media clients, and we can help through a lot of this, guide you on how to restore your account and help you through it. Of course, we are at the, we have to do what Facebook tells us. We can't control Facebook, so we can't resolve your problem quickly, but we can at least guide you through this. Sarah is over that and can help our clients through that. All right. Before I kind of just go to my last couple slides, why don't we have a little bit of time. If there's any questions, please feel free to chat them in, and we can address those. Let's see, we're getting a couple direct ones. Can a hack happen to all my dental practice social media accounts? Yes, I mean, we're seeing a lot of them with Facebook right now. And Instagram. That's the main ones we're seeing and we're hearing about. But of course, they could hack into any one of your accounts. Anybody
Definitely heard of it happening to Twitter lots of times. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and you know what? People are. I know it's really, frightening when this happens to you, but people understand that hackers are out there. And, when they see something weird show up on your account, they understand, oh, they just got hacked. So, even though it can hurt your reputation, I think people understand, and hopefully all of our followers on Facebook understand that we got hacked and that, they feel bad for you rather than just think you have it doesn't hurt your reputation maybe as much as you might think it would. All right, one more question. Let's see. I get a ton of texts from random people that I don't know. All of them are asking me cryptic questions. I don't respond to the text, but I do open them in order to read them. Once I open them, I block the number. Is opening the text and reading it giving a hacker access to some of my information? Josh, do you know maybe the answer to that one?
Sure. Yeah, actually, that's a very common, and in fact, that's a sort of this past year, that's become a very common thing. And yeah, opening it is fine. You're fine. Open it up. You see that it seems like a scam. Just block the number. You're good to go. Nothing bad is going to happen just from opening the SMS. Now, if you click on anything inside of it, that's a different story. But yeah, so long as you're just opening it, seeing that it's something you don't want to be involved in, nothing bad's going to happen from there.
Can I say something about this? I get these too, and I think, and a lot of times there's no links in there. It's just some ridiculous question like, "Hey, it's been a long time," And I think what it is it's just confirming that the phone number is correct, and you then are placed into a dialing campaign and your number is sold. So it's not that they get access to some important data, but you're going to get a million spam calls. So I think that's probably why.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just a way to confirm the phone number. Phone number is still an active phone number.
I've even heard of something as silly as like that you may get text messages from people that have no idea who they are, and it will be like Adrian says, it'll be like a conversational kind of thing. It'll be like, "Hey, this is Joshua, right?" And your first instinct is going to be like, "Yes."
Yeah.
But that's when they'll start trying to confirm information, and yeah, absolutely, it's just about getting rid of it.
I think it's just safe to say never give any of your information to anyone unless like you dialed the phone number and you know who you're talking to. So
Absolutely.
One here says that you recommend doing a unique password for Facebook and your other accounts. Is there any password keepers that you recommend for for your computer to keep all your passwords straight? Anybody have any ones that
I jumped on and I downloaded LastPass, which is a pretty well-known one. It's a big, it's an app. Basically, the app just I can go to lastpass.com or just search LastPass, but basically, you know, you can put all your accounts, all the passwords and logins into your LastPass account, and then it encrypts the entire account with a master password. But then what you can do is you can go in and you can pick a particular account, like say your bank account. You can share that with somebody who also has LastPass, and it encrypts the information. So when this happened, I went in and I started changing all my passwords, which took 3 super annoying days to do, full days to get all this stuff cleaned up. Every single one of my passwords on all my personal stuff was changed, and my kids and my wife lost their mind. So we had to share it all and get it all. It took a while. But it seems to be like a really great solution. It's got tons of great reviews. So I'm not being paid for this endorsement. It's the app that I'm using now.
you're not a password software influencer?
No.
I think that Adrian really hit the nail on the head there. When you're evaluating, you know, whatever company you choose to go with, if you are going to use a password manager, you just want to make sure that they do have some sort of encryption, and you're typically just going to be looking for they'll advertise it. If you happen to have a pen handy, most of them will have something that's called AES 256 encryption. That's what you want. Anything like that, it sounds fancy, it's probably good. So but yeah, you're looking for, you want to make sure any password manager you have is going to offer encryption. Absolutely.
Do you still recommend antivirus software like the Norton, and is that still good to have on your computer?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. I think that it's just important to manage your expectations. So that is sort of like it's a paradigm that very much still exists. It's just getting dated. So while there may be some people out there who might try to utilize some sort of malicious kind of like a malware to get into your accounts, that's kind of, it's more for like say corporate security kind of thing, or personal home security. When it comes to social media, that's not really going to protect you much, but it certainly isn't going to hurt you at all. Any level of security is always a good thing.
Great. All right, just before we wrap up really quickly, I just want to, we talked about how our support team can help with these issues for our clients. I just wanted to mention, for those of you that are new of hearing about My Social Practice, we offer really 4 different services: our social media management and support, reputation management through reviews, search engine optimization, helping you rank better on Google, and we also do website design and hosting. We offer a lot of great bundles. If you want everything under one roof for your digital marketing, we can package these together and get you some great prices. But this is kind of what we do all day. This is what we think about. And so please, if you're interested, we're running a little deal right now. Anybody that does a little 30-minute consultation with us, we will give you a $30 Amazon gift card for just getting on a phone call with one of our marketing experts. And so you can scan this little QR code with your phone and just fill out the form, and
Get my $30.
and
Hey, is our form secure?
our form's secure. You can click on this link. We're going to be okay. No hacking here. So. All right, well, thanks everybody for attending our webinar tonight, and thanks to all the panelists for being on, and we hope everybody has a great night. We'll send out the recording of this tomorrow as well.
Thank
All
you.
right, see ya.
Take
Okay,
care.
bye.